Namaskar, welcome to Wide Angle with Ashok. Yes, and today we will take you all the way back in a way which helps us in embracing the whole world with love. There is there are multiple factors which determines how we would act and react at any given point of time. But if we refer to one, that is energy, the kind of energy balance you have in your system would determine how you feel at that moment. And in order to harmonize frequency of energy, there are various ways, but one important way which is also in the form of, call that not exactly an instrument, but this conch shell or shankh. You have heard about Shankhnad. You are aware that Lord Krishna also had a shankh named Panchjanya in his hand. There is someone in New York who is global chairman for an important organization, World Yoga Community. He is also guiding an important organization, Global Hindu Sabha. He has been very, very active in the field of connecting different faiths. But recently we found that he's someone who can help us connect with the Dhwani of Shankha in the midst of hustle bustle of New York, right at the heart of Times Square, while community was celebrating Ram Janma Bhoomi temple inauguration, Shila Pujan. Guru Dilip ji was cheerfully resonating those vibrations filled with ancient wisdom. So as I welcome Guru Dilip ji, I would request you to begin by
Namaste, namaste.
sharing a sound of conch shell with our viewers.
So we'll go with the sound first.
Yes, sir. Wow, wow, wow. I know you can go more, but let me just connect with viewers, because when you just look at the visual, you don't realize that how much power is there in this sound. But if you were with us, you must have felt something here, a kind of focusing of your mind, a sort of a soothing feel which becomes a part of your experience when you hear Shankha Dhwani. Shankhdwani has its own importance. It is a part of the ritual of making offering to the Lord. Let me share few images as we proceed, and you will see in most of the divine forms which comes from Sanatana Dharma. And here we have Shankha in the hand of Lord Vishnu, and then there are few more. So Varaha avatar of Lord Vishnu also had Shankh. Then here with Lakshmi ji, again Lord is seen with conch shell. And coming to our own age, you go to places like Rameshwaram and you see a lot of conch shell, and it's not everybody's cup of tea to be able to play conch shell. तो ये छोटा सा शंख मेरे पास है. Let me show you, so don't feel bad, and we will learn how to play. So is this the right way to hold shankh?
This way is better.
This way.
Right.
So then when you are blowing it, what?
Going on the whole area, you're just making the buzz sound.
And the hole should be towards the bottom side, this.
Correct.
Okay. So actually play with the sound of Shankh also, so much practice. So let's ask about your first introduction to Shankh. And again, it is probably a lot of stamina needed to be able to blow it the way you do it.
Yeah, the first time I played when I was in India. I was running advanced yoga teacher in an ashram, so I played, but I never had this passion to blow this way. When I was staying with the Swami Bua, who was 123 years old, cousin of Swami Shivananda, I was caretaker for him in New York, and he's the person who used to blow this shell at the United Nations. So when I was staying with him, one day he asked me to wash the shell.
Okay, so let me just interrupt you, because I also remember at Hindu Temple Auditorium having seen him playing this maybe for continuously for 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, like that.
Yeah.
And you would wonder, this man in his, he looked like 90s, you were saying he was 100 plus, but white beard, but playing it effortlessly.
Correct. And in 2000 we had a big religious conference at the UN, and he inaugurated that event with the shell. So one day he asked me to wash the shell, so I washed and gave it to him. And he asked me, you blow it. I said, Swamiji, we never touch your items, especially the ritual items. No, you blow. So once I did, he said, do it again. So he made me to do 3 times. Then he said, you continue my work. So I didn't understand what he's going to say. After 1 year, he passed away. So we had one event before he passed away at the Church Center of the United Nations. One of the ministers came from India. So we are receiving him. So Swami is supposed to do the blowing the shell and the prayer. So Swami asked me to do it. So that's the first time publicly I did. Then he said, no, just continue the work. So now I blow this one at all the international events and at the UN too. And this is like a blessing. So I didn't practice this one. Once in a while I take it and blow it. That is the only practice I have. But somehow I think it's a grace from him supporting me. When I take this one, I think about him. So automatically it will go. Sometimes it will go longer, sometimes shorter. Whatever it is, I am comfortable, I am happy.
So staying with the logistics of playing Shankh, so some people who have tried, they keep on rotating it, which is the right way. So kindly do it like a demonstration for showing what are you doing if anybody wants to learn what they should keep in mind.
So some shell may have different shape inside. So I'll say, when we try to blow, it will block your sound first. That means that is holding the air there. That's a position you have to find out. And this one, this is the position I found. And you take a deep breath, and slowly, your mind has to be very calm, and slowly give the air out through this. And it will go longer. And don't think anything else. When you think something, your breath will go down. So just relax and play. Enjoy the sound. That's the thing.
Okay, so at the cost of probably making fun of myself, let me make an attempt. This is a smaller Shankh, but let's see. So, not bad.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
If you want to try, you can try this one. This is the way you have to hold it.
Okay.
Right.
So you hold it like this.
Correct.
And
That's pretty good.
this is a magical Shankh.
Yeah.
Was this given by
Swami
Bua?
Bua, correct.
This is a very good. And holding it itself makes you feel very good. Let me meditate on Swami Bua.
That's good.
Thank you very much. So now let us talk about the different types of Shankh that one finds, and they say that this kind of Shankh is better for puja and
Yeah, usually it's like a Valambiri Shankh and the Edambiri Shankh. This is the Edambiri Shankh. So usually people use this for blowing shells, but Valambiri Shang very expensive and rare to get. That they use for pujas. That's the way they do things. The main thing is all the shanks are wonderful because all created by the nature, and this has calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and this will help when you put water in it. You can drink next day. So all the deficiency will cover by this one itself. And you look at the religious group or the spiritual groups around the world, they all use shell. This sound itself is a universal sound, Om, coming from inside. Even if you bring this one and listen to it, you can hear the sound as an ocean. And there is no other instruments. This is a musical instrument, it's a special item for the pujas and all the things. And look at Vishnu. Vishnu always hold on the left hand, but Shiva hold on the right hand.
They say that the vibrations generated by the sound of Shankh are de-stressing. They bring a sense of calmness, as you were saying, and among various
Frequencies.
frequencies,
Correct.
these are the uplifting or the mindset where you feel good about yourself. You get more in tune to
Correct.
that.
So like when you play a tuning fork, they have different frequency. So those who play with it, they know which person, which frequency need. But this is like a more universal sound, And they say this has the 5 elements energy, all the earth, water, fire, ether and space, everything in this sound. So that's an ancient philosophy and science. So I feel very comfortable when I play it. And there's a medicinal effect in our body too. So you get the strength for your neck and the thyroid and the breath, the capacity of your lungs. And even in the intestine, it will get stronger up to the rectum. That's the way it is. And when you look at the yogic philosophy, it will vibrate all the energy centers, chakras, and even it can vibrate Kundalini energy in the body. So you look all over India, all the temples they play Shankh.
Absolutely. And I'm also reminded that recently we are still not out of this COVID situation. In India, during the lockdown, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked everybody at certain specific time for 5 minutes to either ring bells or he also mentioned about playing conch shell.
Conch shell.
So there is something in the energy that is
energy,
related to it.
because when you look at the water under the microscope and do mantra, and the particles will come like in a specific formation. Same thing will happen with the Shankh too. A lot of time people don't want to listen to a mantra, but when we play, instead of mantra, just play universal sound, you see there is no negativity from them. They become really calm. That's we always see in our eyes. So
you mentioned that the sound of Om is generated from Shankh, Dhwani.
Right.
So let us talk a little bit about Om and yogic practices. Om is also a universal sound, and talk to us about your experience of having meditated on Omkara.
So this is my personal experience. Of course, we have all the Upanishads, Vedas talking about the Om. Whenever I just observing on the Om itself, I feel so much vibration in my body. So one of my masters said, just observe, think about Om, chant inside, just Om. That cover everything. The 3 syllables, A, U and Ma, in a sound, vibrate every cells in our body. And when you do a research about how this energy is coming from, even the energy formation from sun itself carry the Om sound. The entire world filled with Om sound. And that is coming from the silence, and it will bring us to the silence. There is no other word we can put equivalent to Om. You look at any religious scriptures, anything, all have this Om. You look Christians or Muslims, they do Ameen, Ameen, all have this Om sound there, you know. And people don't want to accept the tradition, old tradition, but we do the research, go to the history, you see, nothing can beat this sound.
So there is no question of beating, it is the reference of accepting
Correct.
and assimilating as well as embracing. And talking about embracing the whole world with sense of oneness and love and spreading joy and harmony, that has been your focus for many, many years. And I understand you have traveled more than 80 countries with the message of love and peace as a yoga practitioner. How all that started?
This is very interesting because I was very active in sports, 25 years sports and games. I was representing Gandhiji University. And wherever I get that admission first, more than any people with a higher mark. You know. Then I used to keep the NCC, but I kept the yoga as my personal practice. So I became the leader for my college or school team to train them for sports. So I'll add yogic exercise with the sports. So I just enjoy it. My parents taught me from childhood. So I thought just add it. I was not religious, I was more spiritualist. That's the way it is. Then I want to do more. So everybody thought I'll become a military officer, a police officer, that's the way. And I wrote the exam, I got the selections. And I said, no, that's not my passion. I want to stay in the yoga field. Then I travel all over India, end up in Himalayas, living there. Then end up in New York. Then I said, no.
Well, let us go to Himalaya with you. Where were you in Himalayas and what did you observe there? How was?
First was like I want to observe these saints, those who do miracles. That's the way I just move around and see things. And it's a very interesting the way they live in a simple life. Because we have set mind in our houses, you know. Oh, you have to study this one, you have to get this job, your house should be this, you should have a car. I said, I had to be a happy person more than anything else. And there's no guarantee I will live longer or healthy, there's no guarantee. Look at the corona, anytime we can lose our life. But when I observe these people, and they go very deeper, you know, even some saints, you just go sit next to them, itself calm my mind. I said, I had to do more, practicing, teaching, just exploring myself. That's where I started.
So, going back to Himalayas, which place exactly were you at Himalayas?
I was in Haridwar, Rishikesh, Uttarakashi, you know, travel different areas. Yeah. Every year, 6 months I go there, stay there, some yoga classes and travel a little bit. Even I learned how to beg from there. It was very hard for me. My parents were government officials, so we never asked people to get things. So one day one of my masters said, this is your plate, you go ask. You know.
Who was master?
One of the Sami. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll go. So we like around 12 people. And I got most of the money. Even I won't speak their language. I just go and smile. That's it. And they just look at this, who is this guy? You know? And I just sing some bhajans and everything. They just give me money. So I got the most of the money in my plate. So master said, oh, that's pretty good.
You did that only once, just for
like 4 months every day. We eat once in a day. You know, meal. And my favorite master was Siddha Prabhakara Yogi. He was very sacred for us. He lived in water for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the way he is. And he just look at you, his eyes itself like a very strong eyes. Sometimes I put on Facebook his pictures. Now, he never go for any money or any name or anything. So the real sadhu. I know him from my childhood. And maybe because of his blessing, I have these thoughts to practice different things. I go and visit all the religious leaders
So let's switch gears, and I'm kind of call it curious. Curious is not a very positive word, but curiosity is there. Uh, Having experienced the energy of Himalayas,
Yeah.
then coming all the way to New York and making this as your base, how you feel about the contrast?
No, this is a thing I felt. We all are made of the universe. We are living in the universe. We are the universe. In that concept, you see the Sanatana Dharma as a Vasudeva Kudumbam. So we are the universal family. Wherever I go, my job to serve. Unconditionally. There is no thing, oh, he is going to give me this now. Whatever I can do, day or night, I just do it. If somebody help me or somebody, fine. I move forward. I set up my style like that. So I am comfortable. If I want to sleep here, I just sleep on the floor, no problem.
You will be comfortable. The people who have this place may not be comfortable. Just kidding. Just kidding. But now back to your routine, because many people, when they hear someone like Guru Dilip ji saying that I don't care for anyone, then they know that he has a Facebook account and he has wonderful pictures and he travels a lot and he is also appreciated by many people. So they say, what is the secret, man? Is it some sort of a career that I can also follow? So career word may not suit you right now, but let us say if somebody wants to follow your footsteps, not thinking about serving, but thinking about this is one way of living. So, your thoughts?
It will be very hard for a beginner because first of all they don't know what is it, and we never know what will happen next.
Okay, so
that's a challenge.
Sorry to interrupt. You please continue on this, but if you care to share, what is your typical day like? I mean, what do you do on regular basis, which you would say that this is the structure of my daily?
So daily thing is morning I'll have a chai.
No.
Okay. Evening I'll have my one meal. That's my regular for myself.
Okay.
I may sleep or may not sleep.
What do you do if you don't sleep?
Most of the time people are online with me in the night time. Last 4 months, so many Zoom events I connected with the people from India, Europe, South America and here.
What is it about?
About yoga or cultural or peace. Well, different events they call.
Okay, so what I wanted to learn from you, or rather the question was aimed at trying to figure out what are your daily practices which helps you sustain the kind of pure smile that you have.
So, I used to have like a vigorous practice, like a 2 hours yoga practice in the morning, afternoon and evening, and we have separate sections for the meditation and breathing. That was rigorous for years, and it will cleanse the system and bring more internal energy. So I keep that energy. That's my plus point.
So you have arrived at some sort of comfort zone with yourself, whereby you are not shaken up.
Correct.
So now let us talk a little bit about the organizations that you are working with, and one of them is World Yoga Community.
Correct.
What is it, and how, as global chairman, is your vision?
That moment start from 1979 to bring yoga as a popular for public. That's the way it started. So I started with my group. Then I had this idea to have the International Day of Yoga that earlier we discussed that one. And all the people from different countries, they joined with us as a network, made it. So before we announced at the UN, I talked to Swami Bua, so he said, make this as a non-profit. I said, okay, I'll make it a non-profit. Then we register, now we have affiliated groups, we have a council, and that developed to bring yoga to the world. Everybody should practice yoga. That's the most healthiest practice in the world, physically, mentally and spiritually. And we don't have to think about any religion at all. This is open for everybody. If we have a body, it should be cleansing, it should be healthy. If we have a mind, we should be healthy, and the spirit should be healthy. That's the way I kept it. I was going well.
Okay, so See, this is what, when you are interviewing someone, you get these kind of ideas. You said no religion on the one hand when we are talking about global yoga community, and then there is another organization which is also you are global secretary for World Hindu Sabha. So now Hindu word takes you to reference of religion. So
Yeah. So Hinduism is a way of life more than a religion. It became as a religion the earlier time, but it all came from the indigenous community. And Adi Shankaracharya brought all the teachings together and create as it is now. And some people may misuse the system, not the Hinduism. People, behavior, that's the problem.
you are absolutely true. So there is no misinterpretation, or people understand what Hinduism stands for. From that point of view, as global secretary for World Hindu Sabha, what
Hindu
are you
Acharya
doing?
Sabha. Hindu Acharya Sabha.
Hindu Acharya.
We have
What
the
are you
global
doing?
council for it.
So what are you doing in that direction so that people understand it properly?
Correct. So we will bring the teachings. What is the teachings? We will talk about the ancient teachings rather than this is my teaching. No. What is in the scriptures? We can have a discussion, healthy discussion. People can ask questions, they can discuss. Even Western people can come and teach. They can learn it and teach it. Keep it very open.
So openly speaking, is there any mantra which you think is relevant every time, and especially now when we all want to move towards a healthy, collective, healthy society, healthy nation, healthy world, and also the spirit to live in harmony and with peace with each other? So one mantra, because we are
That's the Loga Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. That itself is good for all the peaceful life and for entire world. It is best one.
So yoga samasta sukhino bhavantu, translate it in English for some of us.
May the peace prevail on earth.
Very nice. So very peacefully and joyfully, as we conclude, anything else you would like to add?
I am happy because I can share something.
So I'll tell you why are you happy, because you're sitting with Ashok. Ashok means one without grief. So you are happy.
And Vyas. The word from the Veda Vyasa.
So from one happy and rather two happy persons to all of you, expressing our sincere wish that may you be happy and may your life be full of joy, may you move towards success.
Like Swami Bua always say, begin the day with love, fill the day with love, spend the day with love, end the day with love. That's the way to God. We are here to help each other, love each other. We have a short life. Be fruitful. Just enjoy our existence.
Absolutely.
Celebrate it.
So each breath is precious.
It is.
And on that positive note, expressing my gratefulness for you to have joined us. Lots and lots of good wishes. This is Ashok.